Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are in New Jersey. We're with a Jersey guy. He's an author. He's an instructor. You've probably read some of his stuff. Before we unmask who he is, we are going to hand sanitize with the Lead Slingers hand sanitizer. Do you know anything about this hand sanitizer?
It comes from a distillery that used to make whiskey, and it's runny, right?
It is so runny. I told you.
Yep.
People don't believe me.
So,
there we go.
Are we safe?
We're safe.
Oh, perfect.
Oh my God.
All right.
John Petrolino.
It's a pleasure to be with you today, Charlie. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on, man. I'm excited about this.
Go ahead and make a right.
All right. So we are in your hometown in New Jersey, and we're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about gun stuff. We're going to talk about your book, and we're going to talk about the ridiculousness of the gun laws in Jersey.
They are pretty crazy here in New Jersey.
Now, you said we could possibly go shooting today if you brought your goodies with you, but since we're in New Jersey and we're not going right from one place, from point A to point B, we can't have anything with us, right?
Correct. So I figured we'll just drive around the area. We might swing by the gun club just to swing by, but since we're not going directly there, we can't have the firearms in the car. So state of New Jersey has that law where you must go to the range to your home, and no unnecessary deviations. Correct.
Right. Which, by the way, I get that term from Anthony Colandro, where we got the gun for hire masks.
Yep, we have our gun for hire masks.
Gun for hire masks, which are double protected, because not only does it protect us from the COVID, but when people see us with guns on it, they freak out as well. They keep their distance, which I absolutely love.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about you. How did you get into gun stuff? You've been an instructor for a while, and then you decided to start writing, and then turn that into author a couple of books. Work with someone on a book, author a book, or help Anthony Colandro with his book, and write for Ammoland.
Sure. So
holy man.
My introduction to firearms started when I was younger, and Dad and I got involved heavily in hunting. So I was fortunate to get into that tradition, even though I do live here in New Jersey, which is historically an anti-freedom state, and things like make a left. Things like hunting aren't usually smiled upon here. So Dad and I did that, and I got involved in the Boy Scouts and a little bit more exposed to the shooting sports through that. And when I was in college, I was on the rifle team. So I've been around guns, I'm going to say around guns my whole life, but pretty close to my whole life. And as an adult, I went and bought my first pistol back during the Big O administration. Once that administration kicked off, I decided to foray into handguns after being a shotgunner and a rifle shooter for many years. And I went about this with very limited training, and I developed a lot of bad habits. And eventually I got into a formal training and learned about all of the things that I was doing wrong, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And I decided what made me want to become an instructor, we're going to make a right up there, what made me want to become an instructor was I was taking a class with my brother-in-law, and at the end of the class, my brother-in-law was shooting in the dirt. So the class didn't exactly, I say, meet or exceed his expectations. And I said to myself, there's got to be a better way to do this, and a better way to teach this, to where at least the guy could get on the target. You know, I mean, I was on target. I was an experienced shooter at that point. Make a left at the light, and so I became an instructor, and I did that for a number of years. And then, as you know, I worked on Mark Shean's book, Gun Sense. I helped him out with editing and getting that up and off the ground. And I met him at a class that I took in Massachusetts at the light, make a left.
All right.
And I was taking the Massachusetts concealed carry class just for the heck of it. And he started talking about his blog and whatnot. And he says, yeah, you know, I'd like to get this, you know, blog of mine as an ebook or something like that. And I said, well, I mean, I don't know how to make an ebook, but I have some experience in publishing from another area of my life. So I've been, you know, right now I've been writing for over 20 years. And and in the early 2000s, all the way up through 2010, I was heavily involved in the artistic side of things in the poetry arena, and I had some experience with publishing with poetry. And so I said to Mark, I said, well, I could give this a shot for you. And so we got his book up and off the ground, and it's in paperback and in Kindle, and it's dealing with Massachusetts stuff.
We'll put a link in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually had Mark on the show too. Well, you actually messaged me and you're like, hey, you need to have Mark Shean on the show.
I think the way that went down was I unrelentlessly harassed you until you guys got together. Get in the right lane.
All right.
And so that's right how Mark came onto the picture there. So we worked on his book, and as I was working on it, I was writing my own class. And I said, you know, I would do this a little bit differently. And, you know, when I was working on Mark's stuff and just gathering his material for him, and I finished my class that I was writing. And I says, you know what, I need to put together something for myself, for my students. And the reason why I wrote my own class was to be able to help people joining the local gun club that needed to meet training requirements. And, you know, if you were an experienced shooter that's been doing this for 20 plus years, you still need to go through a safety training.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to write something that would work out, let's hit the jug handle here, that would work out for inexperienced shooters and veteran shooters alike, where the program could be changed to meet their needs. And so I said, like, let me put some materials together for my students to hand out kind of as a pamphlet. Well, once I got all together all of the stuff that I thought was necessary, it turned into a 266 page book. So it wasn't like a pamphlet. Yeah. So that's like the training element of my writing, and you know how that all developed.
I want to know this. Why is a guy from New Jersey taking a gun class in Massachusetts? That's what I'm like. If you have a permit in your home state, why would you take a Massachusetts class?
Well, that's the thing about New Jersey, is you can't get a concealed carry permit in New Jersey. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's living in a bad state like Massachusetts. It's hard to believe it's worse in other places.
And it is. So I travel quite a bit up in New England. I have my permit for Maine and New Hampshire, which is not required, but I have them anyhow. And I went to school in Massachusetts, and that's where I met my wife.
Was it the Mass Maritime?
Yes, I went to Massachusetts Maritime Academy.
Down the Cape?
Down on the Cape, right. The land side of the Cape. People don't like to realize that there's the Cape side, that's the island side.
On Cape and off Cape.
Right, on Cape, off Cape, but it's all Cape Cod, you know.
It's all Cape. It's all the Cape.
It's all the Cape down there. It gets cranberry
down there
bogs.
Down there, Wareham, the cranberry bogs.
Yep. So
you got out 95.
Exactly.
Go over the Bond Bridge. I'm one of these guys, whenever I go to the Cape, this is complete ridiculous. There's two things I do when I go to Cape Cod. One of them is I go over on the Bourne Bridge and I come back on the Sagamore Bridge.
Do you eat potato chips while you're doing it?
I usually play Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville, or you know,
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Cheeseburger in Paradise. Make a right at the stop sign.
And it's because I used to, when I'd go down to my kids with the Cape, I spent a summer living on the Cape.
Okay.
And I worked 5 days as a waiter, and I took 2 days of classes. at the Fossees at Cape Cod Community College.
Oh, yeah.
And I just always associated Jimmy Buffett with the beach life, and we gotta go. So whenever I get on the Cape, I have to listen to Jimmy Buffett.
Listen to the Buffett Meister. Yes, right. I understand that. So that's where I went to school, Mass Maritime, and that's where I actually met my wife day one of college, and you know, we were best friends for a long time, really good friends, and then
cool.
2010 things kind of just changed, and you know, we got involved, and you know, her family's from up there, so we're constantly back and forth from Massachusetts to New Jersey, and I said, why not take the Massachusetts class? I had some guys that I was working with from Massachusetts as well, and went over to the house and did the class with Mark Shean, and that's how that relationship got started with Mark. Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have your Mass Non-Res?
I did not get my Mass Non-Res. I want to apply for it, but you know, the nuances of the permitting with Massachusetts, you're supposed to have a permit from your home state.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if, you know, again, New Jersey doesn't issue concealed carry permits to regular peasants. So I don't know if I would be able to use my firearms ID card and or pistol purchaser permits as, you know, suitability proof.
Right.
You know, so we're going to make this right here.
All right. These things are getting a little confusing.
This is a little hairy here, and then you're going to want to stay in the left lane when you get over there.
When I get a chance.
And we're going to make a left on this road up here.
I am not the licensing authority, but I don't know if it has to be a concealed carry permit. So I think a firearm owner's ID card.
Right. So
okay.
it might, and I haven't. We're green.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
We haven't.
Backseat drivers, man.
I know, right? I haven't gotten too far into it yet. And you have to go down to Chelsea in person to apply.
I call it
right lane.
Chelsea where you need a gun.
Yes, exactly. So you have to go there in person to apply for your permit. And as a non-resident, your permit's only good for 1 year. It's $100 a year. And even Mark said it to me. He's like, I don't even know why you would apply for this. It's a waste of your money and your time. And again, if I'm going to be up in, let's say, Maine or New Hampshire doing what I like to call ING activities, like fishing, camping, boating, things like that, and we're in the backwoods, make a right at the light, and we're in the backwoods, and let's just say something simple like wanting to have protection from wildlife, never mind the two-legged predators,
right.
the four-legged ones. If I'm going up to Maine for the weekend, I might stop and stay in Massachusetts overnight.
Right,
well,
see the family, sure.
Given the laws in Massachusetts, you're not even allowed to do that because you need to have a permit in Massachusetts to have possession of your pistol. And if you stay overnight, you're now stopping in the state. Right, you're breaking the law. So you're covered federally if you're going through the state, but you're not covered if you're staying overnight, which is ludicrous.
It's completely ridiculous.
Right. So having a permit to carry in New Hampshire and Maine, where you only need a permit to carry in Maine if you're going to be, I believe, in state parks
right.
One other area there. Make this right, Charlie. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yep.
Good thing the cop's there.
Exactly. So the only reason you really need that permit in Maine is if you're going to go to these state parks or whatever. Well, having that permit shows that, that's a state that I travel to. And same thing with New Hampshire. They have, constitutional carry, which also at one point the reciprocity agreement between New Hampshire was good in Pennsylvania. And as soon as they litigated and made it so that New Jersey residents can get New Hampshire non-resident permits again, Pennsylvania dissolved the non-resident New Hampshire permit in its reciprocity agreement. So it's just a lot of nonsense going on. So Pennsylvania doesn't want New Jersey people to carry guns in their state. Yeah,
Pennsylvania got an AG, an anti-gun attorney general.
Well, the last AG was even worse than the one that they have now.
So I used to...
Kane, was her name?
I don't know.
Kane, I think. I think she's in prison.
Great. I do the Utah class, and when I started teaching the Utah, Pennsylvania accepted Utah permit. Then they did not accept the Utah permit. Now they accept the Utah permit from Utah residents.
Right. So they don't want people coming over the Delaware River and coming into Pennsylvania with handguns, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, why wouldn't you want the tax revenue if these people want to shop in your malls and your stores,
right?
And they want to protect themselves, because there are people of the ideology. I am not going to shop in a big shopping mall unprotected because we're all soft targets. Now, personally, I'm a Jersey guy, so malls, I love malls. I'm not a shopaholic. But even now, when I go to the mall, I try to go during the day, during the week,
right,
when nobody's there. So maybe that takes away some of the mall excitement. But
sure.
Do your window shopping. But why wouldn't you want that revenue? That possibility. Like Delaware, you could go to Delaware, and Florida non-resident is good to go in Delaware, I believe. So if you want, and not only that, I think that Delaware has open carry, so they're non-discriminatory in that means. But
it's such a small state.
It's such it is. It's a little tiny thumbprint.
Right. I look at my map of where I've done shows, and I don't think I've done Delaware, and I don't even know that I count it or don't count it.
Right. Have you done Rhode Island?
I did. I picked up a guy in Swansea, Massachusetts,
Swansea, Mass,
which is way down there, and we drove into downtown Providence and filmed the show, so I could cross off Rhode Island.
You did the 20 minutes from Massachusetts to Connecticut through Rhode Island.
You got it. Just to say I did a show in Rhode Island.
Just to say we made it to Rhode Island. At the end there, you'll make a left.
All right.
So that's cool though. But that's
tough.
To your point though. So now the other things that I work on. You see all the Ammoland work. So I've been writing for Ammoland for a number of years, and I've been getting the the publications here and there. Mm-hmm. And then earlier this year, I was talking with Freddie Reel, who's the editor-in-chief over there. He's the big cheese, and he reached out to me about doing some Jersey-centric specific work.
Oh, very cool.
And that's where all of these Freedom of Information Act and Oprah requests have been coming out. And what a fantastic amount of document dumps that I've been getting my hands on. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been drawing a lot of stuff from the articles. And I've been writing some other stuff too. I wrote a little bit about the bear hunt in New Jersey, where I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago, Murphy made it where, Phil Murphy, that's the governor of New Jersey, made it where you can no longer hunt bear on state land. As
Anthony likes to call him, Governor Free Stuff.
Governor Free Stuff. And Anthony also, big hat tip to Anthony, likes this, Anthony's words, not mine, that he could eat a apple through a chain link fence, right?
I love that.
So, and I mean,
I think of that every time I see a picture of Murphy.
With that kind of money, like, come on.
Right.
Just saying.
Have some debt to work, though.
Whatever. To each his own. So, that's Anthony's words, not my words. And Governor Murphy put an end to the bear hunt in New Jersey on state land, because he could do that. It's state land. Well, now they're changing the regulations to where they want to stop bear hunting on all land, so even private property. So they're working towards those ends. I think the commentary period on the law change just elapsed here, maybe this week or last week. I know it was the beginning of the month. And so anyhow, that commentary period, and so I did some work on the bear hunt, and the other work that I've been doing was I put out an article about the marijuana passage in New Jersey, where the ballot initiative, which is it's a big deal. So even in Massachusetts, you have to deal with this.
Yeah, I stole I think it's Evan Knappen.
Yes.
Said it's Banger Bong.
It is.
And I actually thought of opening a store and calling it Charlie's Banger Bong. And what it is, hear me out,
I'm with you.
It's two stores that are right next to each other in the same building. There's a door to go into the gun store. There's a door to go into the pot store. You can buy your guns and ammunition. You can buy your medicinal marijuana. And then in the back, there's one cash register.
Oh, it's cool.
So it's two separate buildings, and then when you go to check out, you check out there.
No, hey, whatever it takes to make money, man.
I know. I used to listen to the NPR station in Boston. And I used to, there's a couple of cohorts that I used to really like, even though they were lefties. One was a really lefty, and the other one was a flat-out pinko commie. But they were talking one time, and I've called in enough times, not to have my own segment or get my own name, but enough times for me to be worked up when I call in. I called in, and they're like, well, geez, now that marijuana is legal, you don't want criminals buying marijuana. If there was only a way that they could do background checks on people. And I called in, and I couldn't get through, but I wanted to say, we already have a place where you can do that. It's a gun store. And we already have a form to fill out. It's the 4473. We've got all that stuff in play. We don't have to come up with a new form. We don't have to come up with a new place to do this.
More bureaucracy.
Right. We already have the National Instant Check System.
Yeah. The banger bong, yes. Evan Knappin's the one that ran with, and that was what I actually I named my article, banger bong in New Jersey or whatever, and that was a big old hat tip to Knappin, and what a great attorney really is. And so I talked about the issues that we have now if you're a gun owner and you want to partake in marijuana and it's still federally regulated.
Right.
Make a left at the light.
All right.
Yes. Although the House did just recently vote on this. I don't know if you're aware that the House of Representatives did vote for the decriminalization of marijuana. So that's got to go to the Senate and then to the president's desk.
Oh
so that did happen on a federal level. Now what the Senate does, I don't know. But anyhow, from a freedom perspective, if people want to smoke weed, that's their own thing. That's not my thing. But
right.
You want to do that, go ahead. And my one issue with it is when I was out in Seattle, and good gosh, everywhere we went, all you could do is smell dope. And
wow.
It was supposed to be regulated in similar fashion to alcohol, where no open container, you're not walking around in the streets drinking.
Right.
Same thing with marijuana. And everywhere we went just reeked of reefer. And to me, that's like excessive on the other side.
Sure.
From a freedom perspective, like I want,
like a fish concert.
We're going to stay to the left here. From a freedom perspective, like I want people to be able to do what they want to do. But I mean,
well, see now this. So I'm with you too. I'm a non-drug guy.
Right.
I do enjoy having a 6-pack of NyQuil when I don't feel well, and that's about it.
Right.
I like when I get sick, I want to be knocked out until I'm better, and then come to life. Smoking pot's never been anything that I've ever been into and interested and done. I'm at the point now where I'm like, being around enough freedom-oriented people, I'm like, dude, if you want to smoke pot, go right ahead. It's not for me. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. But if you want to, that is totally fine. Just don't make me do it. Don't force it on my kids. And
that's the other element to this is, I don't want that around my kid. But whatever you guys do, that's your own thing.
Your own business.
Absolutely. That's it. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that's like anything else in life. You're not. What was the term? Is say, keep your hands to yourself, right? So, we're taught these things in kindergarten.
The Georgia satellites, right?
Right. Exactly. Keep your hands to yourself, and I'm not hurting anybody, so don't hurt me.
Right. But if you're now in if you go to a Fish concert or a Grateful Dead concert or Seattle, now I can go watch, hear the band play.
They're emboldened.
Yeah. And now you're soaking this all up.
You've got an emboldened, angry mob of potheads just listening to Fish and smoking pot.
Twinkies.
But it does make some issues. And especially like you take a state like New Jersey, I would love to see how this is going to play out, because New Jersey went to great lengths with anti-smoking as an anti-tobacco laws and regulations. So if you want to smoke a cigarette, a cigar, a pipe, or something like that, you cannot do it in a township park. You can't do it on state land. You can't do it hardly anywhere but your home. And look, I'm not a big fan of big tobacco or anything like that, but again, from a freedom perspective, if you want to smoke a cigar in a tree stand, if you're hunting and that's what you want to do, well, the state is telling you no, you can't do that because of it's a health hazard to other people. And the state of New Jersey took it a step further, and if you read the law, they also won't allow you to use any form of chewing tobacco because it's it's an adverse health effect for other people. Well, I mean, I can understand if you've got people spitting and slobbering all over the place, it's disgusting. But if, again, let's take our guy, he's sitting in a tree stand hunting deer or something, and he's spitting into a Snapple bottle, to each his own. Why can't he do that in a state forest when he's by himself? That's how far the law went. So when you look at these anti-smoking laws and regulations, that's how far it goes to smokeless tobacco. Well, I want to see how the state of New Jersey treats marijuana. And I want to see if they treat marijuana like a redheaded stepchild, like regular tobacco, or if they bring it up. We're going to make a right-hand turn up here on Birdsall Road. Right here. This is the one. Sorry. Are they going to treat it like it's a second-class thing, like tobacco, or is it going to be brought up and say, hey, we can have these smoking bars now, where smoking's been banned in New Jersey for how long? And if you want to go to a cigar bar or a cigar club, it's very regulated. I don't even know if you could open a new cigar bar or club. The regulations to do that kind of thing in this state are ridiculous. So now I want to see the pot bars open up, and then I want to see the state be able to justify to people that want to smoke tobacco, whether it's cigarettes, pipe, cigars, whatever, in a tobacco establishment, how they're going to justify that it's okay for pot, but it's not okay for tobacco. So it's there's always something there. There's always an edge, and I guess we'll wait and see.
Right. It's insane, man.
So
that's insane.
But anyhow, the one article was dealing with marijuana and the federal prohibition. And if you're a gun owner, you can, like Nappin says, bang or bong. You can either do pot or you can own guns. You have to choose. And it's not, oh, well, it's legal, it's medical. No, you can do one or the other, and that's at the end.
One of the guys that I look up to, I'm not going to say his name.
Just we're going to creep up on the driveway here. Slow down a little bit. It's down a little bit further around the bend up there. I didn't want to go zip past it. We'll see if the gate's open. But go ahead.
One of the guys that I look up to, that's not it.
No.
Okay.
It'll be on the right.
He says, well, if you want to shoot and you've got your gun license and you want to smoke marijuana, what do you do? He says, hey, buy it from your local dealer, just like you've been doing for a long time.
Yeah. That's it.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
No, and you're going to create a new, and that was the other thing, the taxing of it. I mean, they want to tax it the hell out of it, so it's going to make it cost prohibitive. So right up here, right on the right, you're going to see it's going to pop out of nowhere. This is the local gun club. Let's see, is the gate's open, so we don't have to get out. So let's turn down. This is Monmouth County Rifle Pistol Club. This is one of my local gun clubs that I go to. I do a lot of shooting here. It's a nice little range.
I don't hear any badge on me.
I don't hear any. Yeah. We'll just pop here and we'll turn around, use this as a U-turn point. But this is, some of the stomping grounds. So anyhow, they want to tax the hell out of it. At least that's what they were talking about. So you're going to make it to where people are still going to have an illicit,
they're still
an illicit market. Yeah.
Great. And then it's going to be not the best of both worlds, not the worst of both worlds. It's just going to be both worlds.
Exactly. So
people get it legally, people get it illegally.
Do a little loop-de-loo down here, Charlie, and this is the little gun club, so you can see where all the magic happens for me.
Right. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
A couple of little ports here, and yeah.
Awesome. And there's some guys here enjoying themselves.
Yeah, as we should. This is freedom.
It is
right?
Freedom.
It's freedom. A nice little pocket of freedom in New Jersey, which
doesn't happen often.
And I have a question for you. In Massachusetts, are all of the gun clubs they're all private, or what's the deal?
For the most part, they are private clubs.
Right.
You have to be a member. The membership can vary from $35 a year to $50 a year to a lot.
Yeah.
And there are three, I want to say maybe 3 public ranges.
Okay.
One in Springfield, one in Holliston.
Is there one in Lowell or?
No, that's just Lowell.
Oh, that's just Lowell. Okay.
You can shoot in the streets in Lowell. And that's fine.
That's just Lowell.
There's still people.
That's funny.
Right? I said, what do you want a gun for? You know, I want it for this, I want it for this, or if I live in Lowell.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Lawrence.
I love Lowell, but I got you. So there's only like 3 public ranges.
Yeah, there's one there's one in Springfield, there's one in Holliston, and I think there's one in one of the Attleboroughs. I never remember if it's Attleboro or North Attleboro. Okay. But yeah, and then I guess they charge you to
rent a gun and
either to there's one in there's not, that's a club too. There's one in Worcester. And I've done some classes for those guys. They have it's a private range. You have to have a membership to be there. But I don't think you can rent guns. I don't know if they let people in.
So is that like a thing in Mass where they just don't have public ranges? Where is it like that badly regulated? Or
there's a lot of clubs. They just make it private clubs.
Make it private clubs, yeah. So like Jersey, we have a bunch. Like this is a private club, but we have a bunch of public, ranges like Gun for Hire, Woodland Park Range. You can go in there. You can rent guns. You can rent lane time. You don't have to be a gun owner.
Right.
And I noticed that about Massachusetts, like looking for places to shoot. Where do people shoot up here? It's like it's always Rod and Gun Club, Rod and Gun Club. Yeah, exactly. And there's no public ranges. So you want to go someplace to shoot. I think I went to some place in New Hampshire to go do some shotgun shooting because there was nothing in Massachusetts.
Nothing in Massachusetts. There are some places like there's a place in my town that does trap shooting on Sunday. They used to do it on Sunday mornings, and you don't have to be a member. But you pay $3.50 a round or something.
Yeah, well, that's cheap. That's super cheap.
It is.
And we've got a gun club up here. We can probably zip past it.
All right, so we are heading from one club to another club because you guys are lucky to have public ranges.
Sure.
While we're heading there, let's talk about your book, Decoding Firearms.
Sure. So we talked a little bit about the inception of it, and I'll just show everybody here my copy. This is one of my proof copies. Was one of the, I think this was the 3rd one that came out. This is not for resale, but to give you an idea, this is what the cover looks like. It's called Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide.
It's a pretty thick book, I got to tell you.
Yeah, it's 266 pages, so there's a lot of material in there. There's over 115 illustrations. This is my working copy, which is why it's all beat up. But
the Kindle version has color photos, I believe.
Yes, the Kindle has color photos, so you can get all them there. And you just jump on Amazon. You look for Decoding Firearms, and it should pop up. If you have to look for Decoding Firearms, John Petrolino. And if you want to read about the book, I do have information about that on my website, which is johnpetrolino.com. So if you go to www.johnpetrolino.com, and on there we'll have links to a section on the book. You could read you could read all about the book there. I also have other reviews and shows on there, so I'll probably be putting a thumbnail for Riding Shotgun with Charlie. You'll be able to watch this interview from that page as well. I'll link in. And there's also a section on the webpage where you can get links to some of my articles that I've written. We're going to make a right at the stop sign. Okay. Yep. Articles that I've written for Ammoland and other places as well. So that's all on the website, as well as a section where if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that, jump on the website, fill out the little web form, I'll get an email, and then I'll respond to that email. And if somebody's trying to get in touch with me for whatever reason.
For other media.
For other media, or...
there is a left turn there.
Yes, this is Singer Sewing over here, actually.
The Singer Sewing Center down by the oh my God, what was it? John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd did a movie called Neighbors.
Okay.
And John Belushi sent Dan Aykroyd out to get some food, and he's like, "Yeah, I got the I got the food over at the Singer Sewing Center down by the Cinema Cineplex." And he's like, "There is no Cinema Cineplex, and there is no Singer Sewing Center."
That's great. That is great. Yeah, I think they might have made Garands back then. Maybe. I don't even know. I'd have to talk to my buddy's gonna watch. He's like, that's not what happened. That's not what they did there. And like, I'm sure I'll get a full report.
Right, they were making 1911.
Yeah, I don't.
And selling the Sears catalog.
Exactly. This is actually Farmingdale, New Jersey, a small little town here. It's neat. I like the area.
Cool.
So you go. This road will take you from one gun club to the trap club, right? And the trap club that we're going to stop at is called Howell Trap Club. It's or Solomon's, and what a great little place. And it's funny. You pull up to it and you look, and the shooting line is like maybe 20 yards off of the road. Like, so that's
my God.
Yeah. So you see everybody. They're not going to be shooting today. They shoot on Tuesdays and Sundays, but you would see everybody lined up on the different pads there. There's two or three fields. I think there's 3 fields. We're just gonna bang a left here, follow that around. Okay. Yep. Gotcha. And it's crazy, so like the first time you drive by, you're kind of like, what's going on there? It looks like a firing squad.
Right.
But yeah, and I haven't been to the trap club. I don't think I've been to that trap club at all for this entire year, but I usually go and I pay my dues when I see the owner, Gene, and I'll get my 50-cent discount for shooting. You get 50 cents off if you remember. Nice. And I always pay the membership fee because it's important to support exactly.
Absolutely.
And I know he uses that money to pay for his insurance and stuff like that.
God,
so very important.
It is to pay up to pay this sort of stuff. That to support the local guys in the local ranges.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's like the same thing like the organization. So in New Jersey, a couple little shameless plugs here.
No such thing as shameless, man.
You're gonna make a right onto a road. It's called Yellow Brook. So when it comes up, it's after this graveyard. Some shameless.
Oh, so they got the range over here and the graveyard over here. How convenient.
Yep, it works. One of the organizations I volunteer for is the Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners, which you're very familiar with.
I know Rosie.
Rosie is our vice president, so this is the turn right here. So Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners really doing a fantastic job and stepping up with their mission statement was always about ending justifiable need in New Jersey, which is the standard that keeps people from getting carry permits. And they've gotten involved in litigation with the Mark Shean case, doing a friend of the court brief with that, and now they just filed a lawsuit recently as well where they're challenging right to carry in Jersey and justifiable need. So that's a good group to support. They're always needing money, and this is the club right up here. You'll see those cars that are parked up there. This is the trap club. So the driveway may not even look like a driveway when you get there. You're gonna have to creep down to a crawl. Right here is the driveway, E.H. Solomon, and this is his little trap club. And he's got a gun store in the back as well, and this is his little clubhouse. But this is the you can see how close it is to the road. It's not even 20 yards. I was lying.
My God.
How close the trap field is to the road.
That is crazy.
But anyhow, supporting these groups is so important, and we do need funding, and groups like CNJFO and Association of New Jersey Rifle Pistol Clubs, which is our goal. Like your Gun Owners Action League is your state NRA organization. ANJRPC fighting for our rights here in the state, and also a couple of lawsuits as well. They filed one with CNJFO, that carry case, and then the other groups that you can look into, of course, the NRA, Second Amendment Foundation. In New Jersey, we also have NJ2AS as another group to support grassroots. And then also Diversity Shoot, that's another one to look into. Tony Simon, we were talking about Tony Simon earlier, and what a great organization he's got going there. And I know he's always looking for sponsors, so if you got a couple extra bucks and you want to adopt an organization, I would say
this is a good one,
New Jersey definitely needs your help. You know, it's like that plea to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and says, you know, help us. You're our only hope.
Our only hope.
Because the bulldozer, the bulldozer of freedom is going to go across the country and we got to try to stop it and keep it in New Jersey. You know, at minimum.
Like it's real quick, and it's a little topical, but with what's going on in Virginia and in Arizona and now in Texas as well.
Right, Texas. Yep.
I mean, people have been saying, and I listen to Gun for Hire for
sure.
Man, I've been listening for, I don't know, ever.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember I was listening before episode 45.
Yeah.
I remember Anthony made a big deal about it being 45.
Right.
People say all the time, oh, well, if you don't like it in Massachusetts, if you don't like it in New Jersey, just leave. Go to Virginia. Okay, and then anti-gun folks get in Virginia.
Exactly.
Anti-gun folks get to Texas, for God's sakes. There's, again, being topical, there's a woman that proposed something in Texas that says that you don't have the duty to retreat or you have the duty to retreat even in your house. And the quote was something along the lines of, the thieves they just want to get their loot and leave, and the criminals carry guns to protect themselves against the homeowners and intimidate them so they can get their loot and leave.
Yeah, that's totally ludicrous. That's bizarre.
Oh my God!
And we are in bizarro world.
It really is. So we can't. I mean, to the point that Anthony likes to make, we can't leave these places.
We can't vote with our feet. Is exactly what he always said. You can't vote with your feet. And
exactly.
And he's a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. And any of your listeners and viewers, do get on the Gun for Hire radio podcast, because there's tremendous information there.
It comes out on Sundays.
And he does have a book coming out. I did get a sneak peek of it.
This is what I heard. He's been talking about it every week for a month and a half.
I got to sneak peek the book. I read it. I like it. I've talked to him about it, and I'm really excited to see what's going to come next. So
very cool.
I can't wait to see the finished product, and I got to see a proposed cover.
Wow.
So I'm like, really, this is cool. So I can't wait for the next conversation to be with, we got Anthony's book in our hands. It's going to be great.
That is cool.
Yep.
All right, so let's plug away. So CNJFO.
CNJFO, ANJRPC, NJ2AS, Decoding Firearms.
Decoding Firearms.
Definitely Decoding Firearms.
It can be got at the website?
So the website will just direct you to Amazon. So Amazon is where you're kind of unfortunately forced. Trainers out there, if you do get a copy of my book and you're a firearms trainer, if you're a not-for-profit organization, if you're any kind of a Second Amendment advocacy group, if you want copies of this book, I can get you a discount, so nice. For resale as well. So reach out to me via web form if you do end up getting the book and you like it. I can get it for you discounted for not-for-profit and for resale. Same thing with gun stores. If you want to sell this in your store, get a hold of me.
Cool. Yep. The website ultimately to get to you is
johnpetrolino.com. So www.JOHNPETROLINO.com.
I have to sound it out every time.
I know. So I've been doing that my whole life. Exactly. Petrolino. For sure.
That's cool, man. So, awesome. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you very much for having me, Charlie.
Thanks for forcing. I don't want to say forcing yourself on me, because that sounds wrong. But no, I mean you've been a great fan of the show, and you're like, hey, this is a good guy to have. Hey, this was a good episode. So and you helped me. You and Anthony are the ones that I don't want to say forced me to get everything up and going so you can get t-shirts on the Teespring, but you got the logos. You're like, hey, what's going on with those? Hey, when are you going to get those up? Hey, what I love about this, you're like, I want you to get these up so I can buy one.
Yeah, I just wanted my own t-shirt. That's all I wanted. I wanted a t-shirt. So if we have to design this and make it happen, let's do it.
Right, let's get it over with. So anyway, listen, thank you guys for watching this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. We're going to put a link for John Petrolino and all of his stuff, all of the groups he talked about. Need to make sure that you check out the SDRN.US. That's the Self-Defense Radio Network. Make sure you check out Lead Slingers hand sanitizer. They don't make hand sanitizer anymore. They make whiskey and beer. Woo-hoo. I think they're getting into vodka. I'm not a vodka drinker, but I mean, I'm old enough to remember when vodka was vodka flavored.
Right. I've had a Bloody Mary from time to time.
I love a Bloody Mary on Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Oh,
man.
Gosh.
Anyway, so check out sdrn.us, the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out Lead Slingers Whiskey. Check out The Writing Shotgun with Charlie. You can find it on Facebook and on YouTube. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. You can watch it on YouTube, on Gunstreamer, and on the OpsLens app, which is available as well. You can find some other pro Second Amendment shows there. You can also get some of these shirts that John helped us get up and going at teespring.com/stores/writing shotgun with Charlie. You can also get a Gungram mug and a Gungram shirt there as well. So we thank you guys for watching the show. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for sharing with everybody. And let's go have a cigar.
Let's go have a cigar.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. That was me.
That was us.
You dog bastard.
Do we need to redo?
No.
Did I kill it? No. Did I kill it?
Not at all, man.
Oh.